Friends, welcome back to a series of online lectures on corporate governance. In this session, we shall be discussing Cadbury Committee report, learning objectives of this study to analyze the recommendations of Cadbury Committee report. Friends, we have come across so many scams, scandals, corruption, bribes in getting the permission for licenses or in getting project approvals. We have to bribe, we have to give some benefits to the bureaucrats and politicians. Corporations also involve some unethical practices such as overutilization of natural resources, destruction of forests, exploitation of workforce, employment of child labor, and sexual abusement of women in workplace. Such unethical practices are prevalent in every part of the world. To overcome or to deal with such unethical practices, the governments, particular governments, have set up many committees. These committees recommended or suggested different measures to overcome such unethical practices. The Cadbury Committee is one of such committee set up in the UK. The Committee on the Financial Aspects of Corporate Governance is better known as Cadbury Committee. Was set up in May 1991 to address the concerns increasingly voiced at the time about how UK companies dealt with financial reporting and accountability and wider implications of this. The committee was sponsored by the London Stock Exchange, the Financial Reporting Council, and accountancy profession. It published its final report and recommendations in December 1992. Central to this was a code of best practices and requirement for companies to comply with it. If the companies don't comply with it, don't abide, don't follow these rules, they have to explain to the shareholders why they have not done so. The Cadbury Committee was chaired by Sir Andreon Cadbury. He was one of the member of co-founder of Cadbury biscuits or chocolates. The Cadbury Committee was set up in May 1991 with a view to overcome huge problems of scams and failures occurring in the corporate sector worldwide in the late 1980s and early 1990s. It was formed by the Financial Reporting Council, the London Stock Exchange, and accountancy profession. These committees' recommendations we can broadly divide into three parts: reviewing the structure and responsibility of the board of directors, and recommending a code of best practice. The other recommendation is the role of auditors and addressing number of recommendations to the accounting profession. Dealing with the rights and responsibility of shareholders. The first recommendation was how the board structure will be. Board means the collective body of individuals. Board consisting of many members: managing director, independent director, executive directors. How the board should be, they have to explain to the shareholders. The reviewing the structure and responsibility of the board and recommending a code of best practice. Board of directors. Board of director should meet regularly, retain full and effective control over the company, and monitor the effective management. They have to regularly oversee the functions and responsibility assigned to the lower level. Balance of power and authority should be maintained. Uh, any member should not vested with more power. There are chances of misuse or abuse of power if one person has more power or authority. Executive and non-executive directors. Executive directors, these are the directors who are responsible responsible for involvement in a day-to-day administration of the company. They have to make decisions. They have to regularly participate in day-to-day activities. The duties and responsibility of the executive directors: formulation of mission, objectives, and policies. They have to make a policies regarding company's operations. For example, uh, selection policies, ethical policies, contracting policies, and also make a objectives of the organization. Designing organization structure. These are all the functions and duties of board of directors, that is the executive directors. Non-executive director is a director member of the company board who is not take who is not part of the executive team. Non-executive director typically does not engage in day-to-day management of the organization, but he or she involved in policy making and planning exercises. Non-executive directors, you should make decisions independently. He has the capabilities or capacities to judge independently, independent of management, of free from business. Executive directors, full and clear disclosure of directors' emoluments. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ಏನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಳ ಮತ್ತು ಇತರ ಏನು ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು ಏನು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ರಿವೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು. Financial reporting and controls, a balanced and understandable assessment of company's position should report to the business, should ensure that objective and personal relationship is maintained with auditors. The role of auditors and addressing number of recommendations to the accountancy profession, external and objective feedback while appointing the auditors and accountants. They should be able to give their feedback or their recommendations in objective nature. Professional and objective relationship between the board of directors and auditors should maintain to design audit. Regular rotation of auditors to prevent unhealthy relationship. Accountancy profession developing a set of criteria for assessing effectiveness, developing guidance for companies on the form in which director should report, and developing guidance for auditors on the relevant audit procedures and form in which auditor should report. Dealing with the rights and responsibility of shareholders. Select the director to run the business on their behalf. Appoint the auditor to provide an external check. Committee's reports places a particular emphasis on the need for fair and accurate reporting of a company progress to its shareholders. To make greater use of their voting rights and take a positive interest in board functioning. These are all the recommendations of Cadbury Committee. Thank you and happy learning.